So for this project, I used a 14.5 by 14.5 inch frame. I removed the backing, I removed the clips, and then I removed the interior backing. For some reason, I forgot to film this, so I'm just going to show you the preparation of the frame with another frame, how I do it actually with all my frames. I remove the backing, remove the clips, remove the glass, clean up the glass, clean up the frame. Then I took Elmer's glue and put it around the inside of the perimeter of the back of the frame where the glass sits. Then I replaced the glass, and then I took Elmer's glue again and went around the perimeter a second time, this time kind of in the little crack around there. Now this serves two purposes. It holds the glass in place, and it also helps prevent any resin leaks. Then I painted it with DIY chalk paint, the color mint green. So I wanted to write bloom, and I did a little practicing on this piece of paper. My calligraphy skills are not the best. And I used black acrylic paint and wrote bloom. And the reason all the tape is there is because I really wanted to be able to center it well. I used it to help center because I had written it a couple of times and it was way off center, so I ended up taking it off with a razor blade, which you can do very easily with acrylic paint on glass. So, and also when you use acrylic paint on glass, you have to do several layers, several coats of the paint. So after I was done writing that, I took all of the tape off and I started to put the glass So then I just started piling the glass on in equal amounts. So this glass is glass that I've picked up at garage sales and thrift stores that I have broken up and tumbled for up to a week. And when I take it out of the tumbler, you know, glass breaks up in all different ways. And these are the little pieces that are left behind. And I gather those all up and put those in one container. And little by little, I've kind of been separating out the different colors, knowing I've wanted to make hydrangeas out of them, just not knowing exactly how or, you know, what the presentation would be. And I actually had made up these hydrangea leaves out of stained glass that I had cut out myself and tumbled, but they just didn't look right with this. So then I got out my larger pieces of tumbled glass, some green glass, and just put little leaves all the way in the different areas where the two flowers meet, each flower meets. And I thought that looked better. I just thought those hydrangea leaves were a little bit too big. And I started putting pearls, and then I had some iridescent beads, and kind of divvying them out on each of the hydrangeas. I really like to add jewelry to a lot of my glass projects. I think it makes it look real pretty. So I just wanted to say that this glass, the glass crumbs, the little tiny pieces of glass that's making up the hydrangeas, you could actually make by taking these fire glass, clear fire glass that you can purchase online, and coloring them the different colors with either alcohol inks or with spray paint. I know they have different glass paints, but you could get them, you know, pretty close to those colors there by using different methods like that. And the leaves, you could actually just take like a green bowl or something and use your nippers and cut it into the shapes of leaves, and that would work perfectly fine. Next, I took out something called VITRIGRAPH glass. This is glass I purchased on Etsy. It's long strands of glass that you can either break off if it's thin enough, or you can use your nippers to cut it. And I put these right by each of the leaves, and I tried different beads on them, but I ended up getting out my glass, and this is actually fire glass that had been pre-painted. I don't know if I used the Krylon stained glass spray paint or alcohol ink. I'm guessing maybe alcohol ink. And honestly, the Krylon stained glass spray paint would have been much brighter. It looks bright now, but once you get the resin around it and that, the alcohol inks a lot of times I think fade. And the great thing about the Krylon stained glass spray paint is it's translucent. And when you're doing glass on glass or even glass on canvas, it's nice if the glass can be translucent. I think it looks a lot prettier. Anyway, I used this VITRIGRAPH glass and put one in each little spot between the flowers by the leaves, and added the fire glass that was colored with the yellow alcohol ink. And then I just continued around the wreath shape until I got at least one of those little sprigs around each flower. So the other thing that I added that I forgot to say was I had these AB crystals left over from years ago when my daughter was a competitive dancer. We used to put them on the costumes, and I got those off of eBay, and I'll try to find a link and put it in the description because they are just beautiful. And those, I believe, you can put the resin over and they will still glitter like that. Then I was ready for the resin. When I use resin, I wear gloves, I wear a respirator. For this project, I used art resin. Art resin is a 1-to-1 ratio resin, 1 part resin to 1 part hardener. When you first put it in the cup, it's clear. As you start to mix it, it becomes cloudy. The slower you mix it, the less bubbles you'll get. You're supposed to scrape the sides and the bottom as you're mixing, and that will ensure thorough mixing. After about 3 minutes of mixing, it becomes clear again and it's ready to pour on the project. I usually pour it or spoon it over the glass first. And with this glass, you can put it over the pearls, but the iridescent beads that I have on there, you want to just kind of go around it and make sure it touches it because they will lose their sparkle if you pour it right on top of it. So I was trying to avoid doing that. After I thought that I had thoroughly covered the glass, then I start going around the sides. Now they say resin is self-leveling, but you really, really have to push it up into the corners and all of the edges, because if you don't do it, you'll find that you'll have empty spots. And looking at it from the top is not good enough. You kind of have to get down eye level with it to look at it to see if there's any extra bubbles or bare spots. Now with this particular project, I ended up having to mix up some more resin. I didn't have enough. Usually I make too much. Now this time I made not enough. So anyway, I finished filling in all the areas, and like I said, I had to get down and look at it at eye level to make sure everything was covered. And then I used my kitchen torch to get rid of the bubbles. And sometimes the bubbles are kind of down a little bit, so after you initially do it, you have to wait a few minutes and see if more surface, and you can hit it again with the torch or your heat gun, whatever you might be using. And I want to say at the end of this, I ended up getting a little toothpick and trying to pop a couple of bigger bubbles that then ended up surfacing after I was playing with them with the toothpick, and then I was able to get them with the torch. I cleaned up around the frame with some baby wipes and I guess reused the torch again. And I think here I am with the toothpick trying to get rid of some of the bubbles. So anyway, after you're done with your project, it has to sit on a level surface overnight. It takes up to 24 hours to cure completely. And it should be at temperatures between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And then it needs to be covered with a dust cover. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. I had fun making it. I've been saving this glass for a while now just to make hydrangeas. And I also had stained glass leaves, hydrangea leaves made up, but they just didn't look right. So I used the smaller leaves anyway. And, you know, I've been waiting a while to figure out something that I could do that was a little bit different. And I'm questioning whether I should have wrote bloom in the middle. My daughter said I should have done it with a stencil. I guess she doesn't like my calligraphy skills. So the other thing I was wondering was, has anybody ever done a project, then let the resin set, and then write something on it after, because then you could do it with magic marker. It would be neater, and I would think that you'd be able to take it off with rubbing alcohol. I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to hear your opinion or if anybody's tried that. And I love to hear suggestions or comments, and I love to see what you guys are doing. My email is under my about information. And also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Oh, I wanted to show you this. I think it looks so, I wanted to show you the sparkle. I tried to take it out in the sun, but I don't know, can you see the little crystals and stuff that I put in it sparkle? I thought it looked so pretty. I don't know if you can see it from there. And the other thing is, I think it looks better if you have it like up on a wall. It stands out more. You can, the colors look darker, I guess I should say. But you could hang this in a window too. It would look pretty. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.